Okay. Good evening, exceptional content creators. The day is here. This is our D-Day. We'll be having Randy Taran from the United States to talk about Project Happiness. How can we teach happiness uh, in our schools, in our classroom, in as teachers, as educators? How can we introduce happiness as a subject? So we'll be moving straight to the interview section for today. So if you have your questions along the line, drop it on the comments below. I'll pass it on to her so that we'll get to know more about her work. She is doing a great job. She also works with some of our educators here in Nigeria. So I'm bringing this session actually for us to be able to integrate happiness as a subject in our schools. It helps improve the emotional intelligence of our students. It also helps create this awareness of good feelings amongst our students and our learners. Most times our learners come from different homes and they come from all parts of the world, and we need to have a way of helping them harness their emotions as learners in classroom. So it will help stop the issue of bullying, and we'll get to do more with our students, help them learn better because they are happy and they are not finding life difficult for them. So we'll go straight to the interview, and I would like to introduce you to Randy Taran. So I'll share our page with our screen with her now. Okay. Okay. Okay, Randy, are you there?
I am here. It's wonderful to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to share your experience with us.
It's honestly my pleasure. My pleasure. And I love what you are up to, which is connecting all the educators and showing them new ways of reaching their students, each other, the newest materials, and so on. We need one of you in every country.
If possible, a dozen of us. So, Randy, our first question for today is, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, my work and my life, my passion is Project Happiness. Um, and this started, about 10 years ago when my child was suffering from stress and depression. And one day she said to me, just sitting at the kitchen table, "Mom, I want to be happy, but I don't know how." And that's what got
Wow.
me started. I wanted to do something so badly. I started showing her books and magazines, and of course, nothing resonated. And then I started looking into what materials are there available to teach happiness, to um, increase that sense of well-being, and so on, reduce stress. And
Okay.
really, I started speaking with the experts, and there was very, very little around. Only at Harvard University, there was a class called The Science of Happiness, which was
Oh,
very popular, the most popular. But, why is that not available to younger students? And
yes.
why only at an elite university? So I thought, this is something that I have to do, which is to take these ideas from science of happiness, neuroscience, positive psychology, and boil it down into a way that anybody, any student could receive that information to create a foundation for their life and for their success. And then we decided to help adults. And then we have the Facebook page, which reaches over 2 million people around the world as well.
Wow.
It's all the same ideas. We all need the same ideas. And what it comes down to is that happiness is not, just a state. People think, oh, you're born happy or you're not. It's not true. It is a skill set that anyone can learn. And that's what we've done, is put it into curriculum, put it into, you know, memes, put it into different ways so that people can learn it, practice it, and actually change their neural pathways. Their brains can be rewired to be more happy.
Wow. You have also covered the inspiration behind Project Happiness. You've killed two birds with one stone. Wow.
Well, like anything, and like I'm sure for you and much of your audience, you have to be inspired to be in this line of work, to want to help children, to want to help the next generation. So
Yes.
I appreciate that quality in all of you, your audience as well.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nancy, you are here. We welcome Nancy Mba. We here. Thank you for being with us this evening. Straight to our next question. How can happiness be taught in schools?
Okay. Well, we were asked that question. First, we did a film where we brought students from 3 countries together to ask luminaries, what is the nature of lasting happiness? And one of the people that came was your own Emmanuel Igvorgba from Nigeria. And
wow.
He brought students with him who met students from the United States and students from India all together. And they explored this question in this movie, and they spoke to the Dalai Lama and a neuroscientist and George Lucas. So that was the first thing. And many schools show the film as a way of introducing the topic to their students, the parents, the community. That's one way. So that's one way. Then we created this book, which is called the Project Happiness Handbook. And that's another way that educators teach happiness, because there are so many lessons here. Each page has another lesson, another aspect of happiness.
Okay.
You know, yeah. So, for example, in Nigeria, Emmanuel's school is doing a happiness club. And this is suited for high school. It could be for younger kids as well. You know, maybe in their early teens, 11, 12. But it's run by the students with a teacher advisor. And there could be a parent involved as well. And they take one topic every week and they discuss it. They talk about it. And apparently it's so popular, these happiness clubs, that there's a waiting list well in advance. Yeah. So that's another way of teaching happiness. And this book is available also on Kindle. So, you know, you don't have to worry about the mail or anything like that. Pardon me?
The ebook version.
Yes, the ebook version, which is the same. It's very good. So that's an easy way to access it. So that's another way. And then we have a happiness curriculum right here. It's called the Happiness Series. And basically, we have 9 lessons based on the acronym happiness. So I'll go through it if you'd like. I'll go through it with you. And you're okay.
Just go through it in 2 minutes. Let's see how our audience reacts.
Okay. So H is for happiness, long-term and short-term happiness. We talk about the difference. A is for appreciation, the power of gratitude, because that's one of the easiest ways to get your students into the idea of happiness. Is what are you grateful for today? What are you grateful about with your mother, your father, your teacher, so on. Then P is passions and strengths. We use Gardner's multiple intelligences to show students what their strengths are and also what their stretches are. So it takes away the stigma of, you know, I'm bad in math, I'm not smart, to, yes, you are, you're body smart, or you're nature smart, or you're people smart, you know. So that's a way of young people identifying their strengths, which is amazing for them to know that at a young age, you know. Then lesson 4 is perspective and choice. So they learn that they have the choice always in their life to go on a path that brings more happiness and connection with others, better relationships, or to go on a path that brings more internal strife and maybe anger, bad feelings, you know. And that choice is within them. So it gives them the power in their life to make choices. And then we go to lesson 5, inner meanie, inner friend. And this takes the work of Carol Dweck from Stanford on mindset. So gives, maybe you've seen the cartoons where you have an angel on one side of your head and the devil on the other. And one says, you can do it, you can do it. And the other one says, you don't have what it takes. Don't even try, give up, So we boil this down into the language for children. So you have even children from elementary schools telling each other, don't listen to your inner meanie, listen to your inner friend. So it's very powerful. And then finally, we go to Ninja Mastery, which is lesson 6, which is all about emotional management. Because students need to learn how to manage their emotions, especially the big emotions like anger or fear, worry, and then we address that. We compare it to being a ninja warrior. Ninjas know how to, take charge of their inner resources. So that's
concentrate.
And concentrate, focus, exactly. Then lesson 7 is empathy. Why is this so important? Because there's bullying all around the world. And it doesn't work just to, speak to the bully and say, you're a bad person, don't do that anymore. That's not going to change anything. We have to give students, we have a 5-step process to learn what is empathy and how to have more empathy in your life, your relationships. And that's the root cause of bullying. Then lesson 8 is called So Similar. And that has to do with celebrating our differences and our common humanity. So diversity consciousness, appreciating differences instead of polarizing people. I mean, in the United States right now, we have people being so polarized, and what we teach the students at a young age is take the image of a tree. The leaves are different colors. We have different foods that we like. We look different. We like different music, speak different languages, but inside the core, the stem of the tree is all the same. We all want love. We all want to belong. We all want to be respected. So that's that lesson. And finally, it's to share your gifts. So use your passions, use your strengths that you have discovered, and use them in a pro-social way to make a difference in your school, in your community, in your family, whatever. And we do these lessons with the parents, have some homework. So it's about systemic change. Yeah. So that's another thing. And then later on, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, and I was saying one thing that we do a lot of is we do challenges, happiness challenges to learn happy habits. And we have one right now going on our Facebook. So any one of your listeners can join the Happy Habits Challenge. And another way of doing a challenge, which is wonderful, a wonderful way to start, is to join our Circles group on Project Happiness, the website, and then look up, thank you, join a circle, and then you can start with the 21-day challenge. And that is, there's no charge for that whatsoever. Anybody can do it. You can do that with your students. You can do that in your own life. It's a wonderful introduction.
Wow. I love this, Randy. I love it. It's quite inspirational. And I think it's a way forward to help curb delinquents behavior in our children or students who we find from different homes that are not stable. So it's going to help a lot. And even adults, going to help adults a lot too.
We have our teachers saying, thank you for bringing this into the class. My students are kinder and they're more grateful. I feel better about teaching. And also the parents are grateful that the students are learning these skills. They get along better with their siblings. They learn their own strengths, so they have better self-esteem. You know, it's a big ripple effect.
Yes. Exceptional creators, you have heard her. You've heard from the CEO and the founder of Project Happiness. And I think happiness is the way to go in helping our schools get in touch with the emotional intelligence of our students. Teaching happiness is a core thing in our curriculum. It should be a core thing in our as a subject. And you might start as a club. She has put up a challenge, 21-day challenge, which we can all take. I'll share the link on the screen. So you just go to the circles.projecthappiness.org and you go to the Facebook page, Project Happiness, and you get lots of information about the challenge. I would like to welcome Tolu Washe, Deborah, Yusuf Olariwaju. You're welcome to the program. And Chioma, you're welcome. So go ahead to our next question, and that's she would like to share with us some lesson content. Though she did that earlier in the first question, but she would like to give us more details about lesson contents for educators to teach happiness in classroom. So you can.
So would you like me to talk about one lesson, for example, in detail, or does anyone have any questions for me?
Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask as you're watching. If you have any questions, you can ask. Nancy, if you have any questions, Tolu Washe, if you have any questions, Mr. Yusuf, Choma, any of you online that have any questions, you could send it on the comments while she gives us how we could get contents to teach our happiness, in classroom. She has introduced the curriculum. There's a handbook, and she also have more to offer us on that aspect.
Okay.
So over to you, Randy.
Okay. Well, I might start with just describing lesson 1, for example, which is short-term and long-term happiness. Everyone has a different definition of happiness. So I'm going to ask you, what is yours?
Oh, my definition of happiness?
Yeah.
Okay, my definition of happiness is basically doing what I love and being appreciated by other people.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I bet every one of your listeners has their own definition of happiness. And that can change over time too. It's fascinating. So what we do in the first lesson is compare and contrast short-term happiness with long-term happiness. So, for example, short-term happiness would be eating an ice cream. Tastes good, but it's going to melt, if you haven't finished it first. It's the same thing with buying a new toy. It's exciting at the beginning, but then you get tired of it or it might break. And long-term happiness is, for example, doing something kind for someone you love. You get a warm feeling, and they get a warm feeling, and that's something that cannot be destroyed. It cannot break. It doesn't melt. It stays
Yes.
with
Yes.
you in your heart. And there's a joy in giving to someone else. So that's an example of a long-term happiness. So we invite the children to draw a picture if they're young, or they can write, what long-term and short-term happiness means to them, to be able to distinguish what that is. And then for the younger students, we give them a movement exercise to change their state and increase their emotional literacy, their language of emotions. So this is something we don't talk about too much. What are the nuances of emotion? So they can do a happy dance. They can do an angry dance. What would that look like? And they get to express. So those are different ways of building a feeling vocabulary. And the underlying idea is that a lot of students come to school and they're upset. And as teachers, you see that they're upset. They might not know why. They might not be able to talk about it or to get it out. But the end result is they can't study. And they don't absorb all of your efforts. And it's kind of wasted, So there are ways, including mindfulness exercises in each lesson. And that's a way of teaching them ways to calm the body, reduce stress. It's wonderful after a lunch break when they come in and they're all hyper, you give them, you read them this mindfulness script, actually, and they calm down. They know how to calm themselves and self-regulate. So that's just another example of what has been working very well in all over North America and in over 100 countries around the world.
Wow. And I promise you are getting more schools here in Nigeria to adopt this subject of happiness in the classroom. I bet you it's going to be a big one here in Nigeria. And our listeners, yes, they will get your materials and see how they can get it into your library and sell it as a club, start as a club.
Yeah.
So
that's a great idea.
Okay. Next questions. If you have a question for our guests, you could type it on the comment box. Mr. Joel, thank you for joining us. So you could type it on the comment box and I'll share it with her. So the big one here because this platform is also for teachers who are interested in creating lesson contents. So can a teacher who has adopted the method of teaching happiness, what are the prospects of them creating more content for Project Happiness or for the project on the subject of teaching happiness?
Okay, we would welcome that, because that's been the vision from the beginning, is that people make the content their own. This is not to dictate exactly, it has to be step 1, step 2, step 3, because you're facing different challenges in different countries. And if you can make it your own, integrate it into what you're already doing. For example, you can teach a gratitude letter when you're teaching letter writing in English, or, you know,
Wow.
yeah. So there are ways to do that, and we welcome that. And I would be thrilled if you would send me any lesson plans that you have created so we can share them with our community around the world.
Okay. And we're also looking at teaching subjects, teaching subjects related to this, like you said, English language, and in our local languages too. Translating the versions of English to our local languages, so we could also teach people in our mother tongue here in Nigeria, because we have several languages, up to more than 100 languages in Nigeria. So we'd like to see a translated version of it in our local languages. So we have teachers who are on ground to work on that too, if you will let them too.
I welcome that. I think that's wonderful. You know, we see our work as planting seeds for positive change for the next generation. And we are all in this together. So yes, we would welcome that.
Okay. I really appreciate it. Okay, what are the future plans of Project Happiness? What do you have? What's the future plan? What do you have for the world?
World happiness. World happiness.
World happiness. Wow. That's big. That's big.
Yeah. No, it's a big vision for you know, globally, for people to take some of these ideas and use them in ways that work. So it could be clubs, it could be taking a concept in an English class, it could be taking it in physical education or dance, it could be people using it in humanities, or even in science. People are talking about the neuroscience, how these ideas change your brain. So there's many points of entry.
Okay. That's a good one. We have not gotten any question, but I believe they will get to watch it after the broadcast, and they might want to drop their question. So I'll pass it to you, and we'll get answers to them on the Facebook page.
Perfect.
But they have not got any question yet, but I believe most of them, that probably this Friday, and some of them are coming back from work and hold up and traffic and all that. So they will get to watch it. They will watch our broadcasts after they settled at home. So then they might want to ask more questions.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. And we'll be in touch. And I so appreciate being here with you and talking to your audience as well.
Okay, we just got a question. The 21 days challenge, that's from Deborah. 21 days challenge, I didn't get that. Is it for us, the teacher, or for our students inclusive?
It is for both, for teachers and for students. We have two challenges going on now. One is the Facebook Happy Habits Challenge, but that is Happy Habits Challenge, but that is over in a few days. For a continual challenge that's not time sensitive, go to circles.projecthappiness.org, and I know that you're providing the link, and join and then look in the library for the 21-day challenge. And that's something that you can do with your colleagues, with your classes, with your families. It's very versatile, and there's something there for, that you can, it's actionable.
Oh, it's not restricted to schools and teachers. It can also be done at home.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, wow. I like that. I like that. That's a question from Deborah. I hope that has been answered. Okay. Nkechi, welcome to the stage. Scholar Schools Akure, you're welcome to the stage. Drop your questions on the comment box and we'll get back to you as soon as the broadcast is over. Oh, so Randy, I appreciate you very much and I appreciate your project, Happiness. I appreciate what you're doing. It resonates with me and it's actually makes me happy that people like you are trying to make more impact in the lives of students around the world, because it's necessary that the future generation we are creating, we are trying to mend, they should be better off than us. Yeah, so if we could teach happiness to them at this stage, I wonder what it would be like at when they are grown up and they are better people. So they will be more in tune with their emotion and know how to enhance their emotion through such projects. So I appreciate you, Nancy and Randy, and I hope we'll get you on stage anytime soon. So thank you very much. Any last words for our audience? Any last words for our audience?
It's a pleasure to be together. And what I close my, I do a weekly Facebook Live, and what I close it with is take care of yourself, be kind to one another, and remember that you have the power to change a life, starting with your own. So thank you very much. And I'm very delighted to have been with you today.
Thank you very much. And you have made our weekend, and we'll go into the new week very happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
So we'll be getting back to you. We're getting back to you, and everyone in our group, whatever questions you have, please do send it, and we'll see how we could pass it and get responses from Randy. So you just go to the website, circles.projecthappiness.org, and get on with the challenge, the 21-day challenge. So see, you go to the Facebook page and see resources there on the website too. So thank you, exceptional creators. I'll be seeing you. I remain Ashieducator. Have a nice weekend.